Hey, this is Mark Lickman here to show off something I've been working on lately called GNU Radio World. It's GNU Radio entirely in your browser. It comes with a bunch of out-of-tree modules. As you can see down here, there'll be more added soon. Um, it also has a bunch of example flow graphs, including ones specific to the out-of-tree modules. For example, we have a DVB-S2 full transmit receive chain here. GR Phosphor, I added a web GPU front end, a bunch of Danny's GR satellites examples. You can search through the examples up here. You can search for blocks. You can also right click a block and say show me all the examples that use that block. So here's all the examples that have an add block. Like that. You can actually right click the block here and do show examples. The flow graphs themselves, you can edit it and then download them as a GRC file. It should be byte compatible with the native version. If you want to share the flow graph that you have on your screen with a friend, you can copy the URL and it encapsulates the JSON into a URL parameter. You can also submit it. You can contribute the example. There's essentially instructions for how to make a PR, and it'll copy the YAML. I said JSON earlier. To a PR so that it can show up on GNU Radio World itself. Next, we have example recordings. So if you know about IQ Engine, I've been folding in a lot of those concepts here. There's a few examples, and the cool thing is these examples, so if I wanted to add them to a flow graph, I just click it, and it'll stream the samples from currently Cloudflare R2 bucket is where the recordings are stored. But you can click this and it'll set up the file source with the recording already piped in. You can also just open a local file if you want. And they're in SIGMF format. If you're curious, you can download the actual raw files by clicking this. And then some of these examples, actually a lot of them use an example recording. So if I go to like the drone ID example here, there's a Mavic 3 recording. And then if I run it, it should show me detected drone ID packets. Yeah, it's finding some bursts there. Next, if you want to have an IQ Engine style view of a recording, you may notice that every file source in your canvas causes a new tab to open. So if I added this microwave recording, we now have the microwave tab. You can click on that, and it'll give you the IQ Engine style view of that recording. You can also just click it on the left here, click view, and it'll show up temporarily, and then you can X out of it. You can also link people to a recording. If you copy the link here, it'll go straight to the spectrogram view. And then when you're in the spectrogram view, let's see if I go back to an example. So here's a simple example. There's a cellular recording, and it's just spitting it out to a waterfall. But if I want to only include a portion of the signal here, I can click this tab associated with the file source. And then using the time cursors, I can choose a portion of time. And then whatever I select in terms of the offset and length of samples will automatically show up under the offset and length here. So now if I run this, there'll be less, it repeats off, so it doesn't show as much. What else? We got the IQ Engine style mini-map interface where it's only downloading the samples you're looking at, right? So this whole mini-map represents the entire recording. You can even move the range you're interested in on the mini-map. So yeah, a lot there. I'm going to be folding in more of the IQ Engine features. I'll start with a better way to organize these recordings because I want there to be like a ton of them. And right now I just have kind of a single directory structure. You can also search recordings if I want cellular drone, Mavic. It searches the title and the description. Yeah, let's see what else is there. Oh yeah, this is a fun little thing. Let's say I've got an example flow graph that's kind of complicated. Like maybe, say I got this flow graph, it looks messy. One thing I wish native GNU Radio always had was you do edit, auto arrange blocks, and it uses some heuristics I threw together to try to make it look neat. Then you can download it or whatever. If you're curious, okay, so as far as how I can support all these OOTs, they're each a different WASM module, and it only fetches the ones you're using. And you can actually get a little behind the scenes view if you go to Help and then WebAssembly modules. Um, so right now, only the core is loaded, but if I add like RDS encoder, and then I think I have to click run. Let me do an RDS example. So here's an RDS example. Let me run it just to show you the output here. So you can see the BPSK for RDS, and then it's displaying the actual channel information that was decoded there. But now that I've run it, it should show up as downloaded. Yeah, so we got the digital module and the RDS module have been kind of fetched from online. So this lets GNU Radio World have kind of a unlimited support, unlimited out of tree module support without causing the initial thing to take forever to load. Same with the recordings, it's only actually grabbing the samples you're using. So if you want to contribute, one way, like I showed you, is contribute example flow graphs. Another way, if you want to contribute recordings, there's no streamlined way to do it, but if you email me, you can email info@iqengine.org or like any of my other emails, and I'll get the file added to the recordings bucket. And then the other thing is, if you open up the GitHub page, I've set things up so that you can make a new issue. And I had one here I tested it with where you can either describe a feature, or if there's something wrong, a bug that you want to fix, just kind of describe how to reproduce it. And then there'll be a assign to agent button. I think I may have to click the button myself, but it'll use GitHub Copilot and then create a PR. And then what I did on the PR side of things is every PR, it actually builds it and deploys it to like a separate subdomain. And it'll tell you where to see the, where to actually, it'll give you the URL to go to so you can play with it live. That way, if you're not even a programmer at all, you can still add features or fix bugs to GNU Radio World. And once you look at the live view and you see the fix or the feature looks good, you can just make a little comment letting me know that you think it's ready to go. So pretty easy now with AI to contribute. As far as I started this 3 weeks ago, and I've only gotten this far thanks to a mix of Claude, Codex, and my experience making IQ Engine, doing web development for iqengine.org, which is all about managing RF recordings. But I'm thinking of folding a lot of this into GNU Radio World to the point where it may even be kind of the go-to place for public recordings instead of iqengine.org. If it's able to replicate enough of the features, I might be able to just switch it over so it's all in one spot, but we'll see. But yeah, until then, let me know what you think. Definitely give it a try. It's very rough around the edges, so there are many bugs that I'll be fixing over time here. I'll be adding more out-of-tree modules, examples, and recordings. And then the last thing is, you probably wondered, can it support actual SDRs and any hardware? Well, there's been a lot of projects that have existed related to web USB or just web support of different SDRs. And I want to get support, but I want to do it right. So I'm kind of taking it slow. I want the rest to be kind of built out and working well with recordings, since you can do a lot with recordings before I start adding in different hardware support. But yeah, that will be added definitely before GRCon this year. And it's currently early August 2026, and I want at least like USERP and HackRF and Pluto support by GRCon, because I've got a lot of good ideas for different ways hardware can fit in, like a way to have a live spectrogram, and then you would maybe, as soon as you see what you want, you hit a stop button and it records a little snippet, which you can then view through the IQ Engine style interface, and crop it and everything. So yeah, there's definitely going to be hardware support, and people have done it in the past. I think it was who is it? Someone compiled UHG using WebUSB and WASM. I think it was Mark Newland. And there's been other examples. Danny Estevez has done plenty with the Pluto in the browser. So I'll get all the lessons learned I can from them and try to add hardware support in a nice clean way. But anyway, that's all I've got. Thanks for listening.